Hi everyone and welcome to my recent game collecting video of October to December releases of 2022. And this time this will be definitely my very first impressions of the games, because most of these games I have only played like few hours. Just a couple of the games I'm maybe about halfway through, probably even less than that, but yeah, most of these I've only like tried very beginning of the game. But yeah, that's been mostly because I've been playing older games from my backlog. So many great games came out this year that I still haven't finished. So yeah, huge backlog of games. But anyway, let's get started to see what I can say about these games based on what I've seen so far. So starting with Star Ocean 6, The Divine Force. And I'm always so excited for new Star Ocean game, but at the same time I'm a little bit feeling overwhelmed because they always have so many like these little missable things and so on. Like for example the private actions that are available for very short time in the story and are really easy to miss. So maybe that's because why I have been feeling so, it feels so much like investment to start a new Star Ocean game. But finally this week I started it and I'm wondering why I didn't start it sooner, because it seems like a great game. But anyway, so this time you have two different main characters to choose from, Letitia and Raymond. But I do wonder how much the playthrough is going to be different, because at least so far the two characters have been traveling together, so I'm guessing the main story will be mostly same, but probably more like the side content, like the private actions where you interact with your other party members. Maybe those are more different based on which character you are controlling in those scenes. And gameplay wise, it seems what you can expect from Star Ocean game. Those nice custom combos that you can build up from your unlocked skills and so on. So yeah, the more basic combat is quite fun. Maybe the more unique system, the what were they called? Something like VAs. The whole Duma mechanic where you can where the controlled character starts flying and all that. It felt a little bit confusing at first. Maybe the tutorial was somewhat hard to understand, but when I started to play around with that mechanic, it started to feel so great. Simply fly around the enemies and doing those special attacks. So yeah, that is quite fun part of the combat system when you get used to it. So yeah, so far I've been enjoying the game quite a lot. And I've been wondering why I didn't start it sooner. I do like how Square Enix has been putting these little postcards of the main characters lately in their games. Those are cute little addition to these basic editions of games. But yeah, new Star Ocean game, and so far I've been enjoying it a lot. Can't wait to play more of it. And next, another October release, Bayonetta 3, which also I've been kind of putting on the side and hesitating to start playing. Probably because for some reason I didn't end up enjoying Bayonetta 2 as much as I expected based on the first game. And I've been wondering why is that. I've been meaning to give it another chance and play through the game again, but with all the backlog I still haven't done that. so I could see why I didn't enjoy that game so much. Maybe with another chance I would enjoy it much more. But yeah, I've played a few hours of this so far, and I've been enjoying it more than I did previous game. And as I said, I can't remember why I didn't enjoy the second game. But this time it feels like there's more new mechanics to the combat, like for example, finally you can control the huge demons that you can summon. Previously those were only these kind of more scripted scenes during the combat. Now you can actually control the huge demons, and at first they felt little bit overpowered, but maybe because they feel so powerful they are also quite fun to use. And you still need to be very careful because Bayonetta herself still stays on the battleground, so she can be quite quickly surprised by some missed enemy, so you still need to be careful while controlling those huge demons. But yeah, so far I've been enjoying it, and I especially love how the style of Bayonetta, especially the hair, is always different. Even though I said that I didn't enjoy Bayonetta 2 for some reason so much, but I must say the style of the character was favorite in that game for me. But yeah, so far I've been enjoying it and can't wait to play more of it at some point. And next to November releases, starting with God of War Ragnarök. And I only recently played the previous game. I think I bought it only like few months after release, but for some reason I played it like a year ago maybe, something like that. Finally decided to play it through it before this game comes out. And yeah, even though the previous game changed a lot of things compared to the older God of War games, I did enjoy the previous game, and this seems to be more of the same. I do like the setting and the story of North mythology and so on, all the new gods after all the Greek gods. And I guess the biggest difference in this game compared to the previous one, I hope this isn't a huge spoiler, you actually get to control Atreus this time. And I feel like story-wise those scenes so far have been much more interesting because you get to see more of these new locations and new characters that you didn't get to know in the previous game. So story-wise all the Atreus' segments have been really interesting, but to be honest, I'm not sure how much I enjoy the combat system with Atreus. It's really nice they added so much new gameplay with second playable character, but so far I haven't been enjoying the combat. Probably I just need to unlock more skills and so on, so there's more variety to it. And probably at that point I will start enjoying it. But yeah, Kratos' combat system is pretty much same with little new additions here and there, but yeah, it's pretty much same as in the previous game. And that combat system I do enjoy much more than the new Atreus. But yeah, so far I've been enjoying it and can't wait to see how the story goes. Maybe I'm about halfway through so far. But yeah, next game Tactics Ogre, Reborn. I always keep praising the tactics style games, and I have a little shame to I'm a little ashamed to admit that I've never played the original Tactics Ogre, even though so many people keep comparing it to Final Fantasy Tactics, and I keep saying that's probably my favorite game of all time. So I've been meaning for a long time to give this game a try, and now with the Reborn version, finally I got to do it. So yeah, it's pretty usual tactics style game, but I do think it has a lot of little mechanics that are not so usual to the tactics games that I like. For example, the whole experience system, how it works here, is different to the standard way that I feel like Final Fantasy Tactics kind of taught me how every character has their own gain their own experience and points from their actions. Here, the whole experience is like shared. Everyone gets the same amount of experience after battle, and also the subsystem. It feels a little bit less interesting when you can freely to give new jobs to kind of like any character instead of the way how it works in Final Fantasy Tactics, where you need to learn certain jobs to unlock the more advanced jobs. I feel like I enjoy that system more than how the job system works here. But still, it is really fun game so far. And I especially like how the story seems to give you quite important decisions and give you really different paths throughout the story. And from what I understand, at the end of the game you can, on the second playthrough, you can kind of skip from point to point and only play the important scenes again to see the different routes and so on. So I'm excited to see the different paths that you can take. So yeah, so far I've been enjoying the game a lot. Maybe another little thing in the like the visual style of the game, the portraits look so great, but the characters, I'm not a huge fan of the characters' head, those huge chins and no neck at all. Makes the characters look a little bit weird. But yeah, that is so minor problem when the gameplay is so much fun. Yeah. And from what I understand, this Reborn version introduced some balance reworks to the original game, so yeah. I suppose this new version is the version that is better to play instead of the original game because of those balance changes. Because still it feels a little bit unbalanced in some cases. For example, the flying characters seem a little bit too overpowered because they can move almost anywhere they want and so on. So I wonder how broken the original game was. But yeah. Anyway, next game, Monochrome Mobius, which I got as limited edition. So, even though the title doesn't say Utavaru Mono, fans of the series definitely recognize the character artwork. So yeah, it is new Utavaru Mono game, even though the name isn't in the title. And this time it's more usual turn-based RPG. The combat system is pretty, should I say, basic. Only like this more unique feature is how the turn system works and how it is visually presented with these with these 3 circles on the corner of the screen. How all the characters start the combat system from the outer huge circle, but with certain actions they can move to the inner, more smaller circles, so the next turn comes up sooner. I suppose the mechanic isn't necessarily completely unique because, yeah, usually in this type of turn-based games, quick actions make your next move, next turn come up faster, but I feel like the how the turn system is presented and especially the visual style of it feels really unique and fun. But yeah, all in all, really glad to see some new story in the Utawareru series. Maybe like visual style and those, it has this more budget feel to it, like the side characters. They are not very detailed, especially when seen next to the main characters and so on. But yeah, just a minor problem. And next, latest KonoSuba game, which I also got as limited edition. So it's sequel to the dungeon crawler KonoSuba game that also got the plus iteration of the first game. And yeah, for the most part it is more of the same as the previous game, and I always keep praising that the previous game, it is one of my favorite of these like license-based games because how faithful it is to the source material. And yeah, this is more of the same with little new additions like Kazuma can change job, so you can customize his role in the party however you want. So small little additions like that make the game even more fun. But probably because I played the first game already twice with the 2 different versions, I started to get a little bit bored of this game at about halfway through. Probably because it is more of the same. But I do want to continue it at some point. Because yeah, it is fun game, but little bit too much of the same gameplay as in the previous game in the series. Only thing missing is the English translation. I wonder why they don't translate these KonoSuba dungeon crawlers in English so more people can enjoy them more easily. And lastly, the only December release that I have, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. So it's a new release of the Crisis Core that was released on PSP, and that was kind of like prequel spin-off to the Final Fantasy VII. And I have never played the original version, but because Jack was kind of teased in the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake's first part, I wanted to see his story in the Crisis Core, so I was very excited to hear this new version is coming out, so I can finally see who Jack is and how his story goes in this game. So yeah, it isn't as huge remake as the Final Fantasy game is. It is more like visual upgrade, and I believe the combat system has little updates here and there, but for the most part it seems like it is a game made for originally made for PSP, like for example the areas are very small and so on. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. The combat system, it is somewhat basic, but it has a lot of same mechanics as in Final Fantasy VII, like materia system and all that, but everything works a little bit differently, but they still are based on same ideas as in the main game. I think the one mechanic about the combat system that I'm a little bit afraid of is the whole DMW system, which is like this weird slot machine constantly running in corner of the screen and giving you randomly some buffs and so on during the combat. I simply don't like the randomness of that system, especially because all the more powerful moves like limit breaks and summons and all that is based on that whole random slot machine. But from what I heard, you get some sort of tools to kind of like customize the slot machine to more favorite certain things, so you can kind of manipulate it to some extent, I heard, as the game progresses. But still, I don't like that randomness at all. Otherwise, I've been enjoying the game so far. And yeah, so far I also been liking the character Jack, who is the main character here in the game. But yeah, can't wait to continue that game as well. I feel like I said that same for every of this game, but when do I find time to continue all of this? I can't say. But yeah, very first impressions of these games this time, but I still suppose this is fine. No need to be so kind of like professional thoughts on these games, because this is more like random rambling for me about games that I am excited. But anyway, thanks for watching and bye!